Hello, everybody. I am Deniece Smith of Our Metaverse. Our Metaverse is a community coming together through Metta, loving kindness, to share our common humanity. All parts of everyone are welcome here. And tonight we're going to actually do a Metta practice. So, welcome. Thank you for being here. As we practice this together, we're going to talk about why also it's important to continue practicing during hard times. Seems like those are the times when it's easiest to just, well, not right now, or to fall back into old habits. And that's when they become most tentative, is when times start really getting hard. And then we forget this basis that we've been trying to create and build, that really helps. It's my intention tonight to facilitate a class where first we share our experience openly in a safe place. But second, we also do a meditation to help us practice in this clearing of our mind that we refer to sometimes as the Dharma. Take a minute now if you can and set your meditation for your intention for tonight, or your motivation for being here tonight. So tonight we're going to turn towards this practice of continually cultivating this clear mind of ours. So a clear mind might be a mind that can see through storms and emotions that are currently going on, and then remember that there's this basis in the back that is positive or light or filled with loving thoughts. So we commit to,
I have a question.
yeah,
What would what is like a hard time? You know what I mean? Like, 'cause for me, I think I don't necessarily go through like emotionally hard times. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not
yeah,
like very mad or like angry
yeah,
or like sad for like a long period of time. But like,
yeah,
I go through being what you're talking about, right? Is finding like the concentrated mind. I go through times of being not, like aware of my thoughts very well, right? And to me, that's kind of being like in a bad
yeah.
spot.
That's so how it's some people's nature has more of this, like, I'm looking at the bright stuff, or I'm just not thinking a million things,
Yeah,
right? And some other people's nature have this, I'm thinking a million things, I can't stop those things from happening, and they're not positive.
yeah, yeah.
So on different levels, we're trying to get to a point where the thoughts that aren't useful for us
I see.
might,
Yeah,
might just not exist, like
yeah.
might be clear.
Mhm.
And then the thoughts that are useful for us are things that we can share, things that, so we're going to get to a part in this tonight that's going to talk about how our body and our speech are considered servants of our mind.
Interesting.
So when we hear somebody else, Carrie will say this to me a lot, get out of my mind. And I said, well, like, you know why it feels like I'm in your mind? Because I'm responding to your speech, because your speech is coming right at me, showing me what's going on in your mind. And
Hmm.
perhaps you'd like that to be a little bit more positive. So, so what we do with our body and what we do with our words are hints of what's going on in our mind. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
We're gonna I'm going to try to just keep this in the order that I have it right now, but do keep commenting, okay? So when you're saying, when you're bringing a clear mind, if you don't typically have something that goes towards the negative, how do you do this? You're just would probably be practicing more awareness. I'm
Yeah.
here. Where's the positivity? Oh, I see that when that goes on. It's there. It's there. And over time, as you go through life's ups and downs, maybe there will be different times where you go, "Oh, I'm not aware of my thoughts being as positive as they normally are."
Hmm.
So I know that I can do these things to counter them. So you start off with this beautiful base, and now you just amplify your base, which is awesome,
I see.
right? It's like you're one thing that's been really useful for me this week has been to I keep thinking as I lay down to sleep, not just that I'm not the clouds, right? There's this perspective where if I'm looking up into the sky, right? And I see this picture and there's white clouds and there's blue sky behind it. A lot of times when we ask somebody, what do you see? They'll say, I see clouds. Like they don't even see the blue.
I see.
And some other people will say, I see clouds in a sky. And where we're trying to get to is I see this endless vastness of sky with clouds passing.
Hmm.
So that we remember that this base is this giant vastness of just space rather than all the things that are blocking it temporarily.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So that's been useful for me to just as I lay down to go to sleep and anything that could be thoughts. I got too involved in political thoughts this last week, and it was like, oh man, I just couldn't stop the thinking, how did we get here? How come our kids need this? Why didn't we give them better? Just like over and over. And it was like, gosh, please, that's not helping anything right now. But they were just perpetual, and I had to just keep going. Those are just clouds. There is this vastness of space behind. And then I just had to imagine myself as that space, and then these clouds are passing by, rather than when I look at the sky, otherwise, it's vice versa. The clouds, the blue is back there, and the clouds are in front. Does that make sense?
Yeah, complete.
But I switched it now to where, like, I am the blue vastness living in that as a base, and these other things are just moving through, which was kind of helpful. So in difficult moments, it may be justified, like, and I'm going to give a couple examples of these, see if you can feel them. It might even be righteous to harbor anger or resentment or hatred. Like our minds will often whisper to us, I am right to feel this way, right? And who knows, maybe we are. But I think that what we agree here that what we water grows, right? We've talked about that a little bit. What we pay attention to becomes bigger. So if the thoughts happen to be negative thoughts, even if we're right, this person was mean. Okay, I'm right. I deserve to feel that way. And my little righteous self keeps telling myself that because I'm right, I can think that and I can develop that into all kinds of forecasting actions I'm going to take because of it or whatever, right? But instead of my mind being right and caring about that I'm right, I can observe it and say, this doesn't feel like this vast blue nature that's spacious.
Hmm.
This feels more like clouds, and I'm encouraging further clouds. So maybe I don't want to do that because now I'm creating the storm to last longer by putting more clouds onto it instead of noticing that that person was mean and then maybe having compassion on them instead of caring about me being right about their meanness. Makes sense?
Yeah, I think the sky uh representation is good.
Good, good. when we when we act upon those types of thoughts, that person was mean, I'm right, they deserve this, whatever it is, we not only start to cloud, pollute, put something into this open peacefulness, but then our body and speech, the servants of that mind thinking those things, begin to act. And now we create those types of storms for the people who are around us also.
Mhm.
Now we have clouds in their world from what we're doing based on that thought. So the idea is to try to just watch the thoughts before we start to have our body and our speech act on those thoughts. And then, is this what we want? Is this what we want? Do we want our storm to get bigger? Do we want their storm to get bigger? Through the guidance of clear mind cultivation. So I like to say clear mind cultivation and then have this visual, right? For people who've been around the Dharma for a long time, that's what the Dharma is. Karuna says mind training very frequently. And I have a sweatshirt that says mind training, but I freak people out when I wear that because in our Western culture, we hear mind washing
Mhm.
instead of become your own mind that can discern good and bad and negative and positive and then make actions based on that. So I like to say clear mind cultivation. Cultivation like planting in the garden.
Yeah, I see. I would like to say something. I feel like always, not only you at all, like Karuna and like a bunch of other of the people you've had on, I think they always refer to the West and like right, they always do that. But they I think there's a baseline of like how aware like these people think the West is. And I feel like a lot of the times, like they kind of are underestimating a little. I feel like a lot, like I think like personally, I know a lot of people that like actually think about how they think, you know what I mean? And like they are not fully delved into the world, you know what I mean? They know they have a consciousness. Um,
Yes.
so
They
like I
didn't.
know like Karuna and especially who was the other lady?
Bobina?
Yeah, Robina. You know, it's like they kind of put it at a baseline of like the people in the West are like kind of not aware, you know what I mean? So they kind of like try to teach from that perspective,
Yes.
you know, and then like that's just something I noticed.
Were you here when Geshe Tashi came last time and he was just open
No, I
conversation
wasn't here
about
last time, no.
okay. Once we had that conversation and he explained how he grew up. He grew up in a nomadic family in he said homes and then he said tents sometimes. And then it was intergenerational in one house, so grandparents and parents and kids, and that they all took care of each other. And that when you get to a certain point that one person behaved in a way that was negatively, like the whole family would go around them and say, oh my gosh, we need to hold you and support you right now because we don't want you to create your own harm for yourself.
Mhm.
Right. And he put this image out to us where when we finished, Stacy said, oh my gosh, I now have somebody I absolutely want to emulate. It was like this dream of everything kind and mentally clear being an absolute priority over any fancy car, jewelry, something sparkly, something to brag about, anything material. So I think when we tend to say the West, it's more of this capitalist society and material society.
Ah, okay, yeah. Yeah.
That's what we're referring to. But how beautiful is it that there is a very big movement going on
Yeah,
now saying,
I totally think there is.
Like we've taken that to an extent where we realize the end of that does not cause us happiness.
Yeah.
And so it's coming back, and I'm so glad you're like on the front of that.
Hmm.
So wonderful. So through the guidance of clear mind cultivation, we can choose to plant seeds in a garden that aren't weeds, aren't thorny, aren't harmful, right? We can choose to plant seeds of compassion. We can choose to plant seeds of gratitude or generosity or equanimity or kindness, right? And then what I was thinking of today is every action is not just an action, but it's an action plus a seed. Because you know how they say what you put out comes back, right?
Hmm.
So the action is an action plus a seed. So if it's a negative action, you put the negative action back out, it plants a negative seed, that thing grows, and the next thing you know, negativity is coming back at you. So instead, we can plant this garden of positive seeds when we get good. When we get good, I'm going to bring up a couple challenging situations in this tonight just to feel them to go, oh, okay, I get it. It's not always easy, right? When the seeds are nurtured over time, they blossom into habits. So those habits of mind happen. Those more free, more joyful, less resentful and dark and heavy things. But if we instinctually have those types of thoughts, then we have to really cultivate against them to just start creating a different habit. And everybody at a different level, like you were saying, Nate. Tonight, we're going to tend our inner garden, right? This garden isn't really outside, this garden's inside. And we're going to choose to cultivate which nourishes our heart and the hearts of others, not just for this moment. This is why this is a practice. Like every time I speak, am I sending something negative? Am I sending something positive? And as much as I practice, Nathan, you hear me sometimes and I'm just casually talking and it's not positive. I go, gosh,
Yeah.
when am I going to just get the positive nature that feels like this garden is so loaded with it that there isn't place for the weeds anymore,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know? So metta means loving kindness. And it's a noun and a verb. And I'm going to explain that. Let's take an example of hug. Hug is a noun, it's a thing, right? And hug is a verb, it's an action, giving a hug. That makes sense? So metta is this stuff, this loving kindness stuff. But acting with metta is the verb part, like doing something that is loving and kind is the verb part. An active practice is a choice that we make moment after moment to extend goodwill. I'm going to put this another way because to me, this means a whole lot to see it that way. The verb metta is choosing to extend kindness when it's easier not to. I fall prey to the not to way too much. Karuna sometimes says you can't practice loving kindness. He uses compassion, but you can't practice loving kindness in a hot tub with a cocktail, right?
Yeah.
We don't in that situation because that situation doesn't present us with an urge to do otherwise necessarily. That situation might not present us with an urge to cause harm. When you do practice metta is when, say, somebody insults you in front of somebody else and you still do not wish them harm. And when you're super good, you not only don't wish them harm, but you have compassion on their ignorance and you wish them love and kindness. When somebody behaves in a way that's negatively and even at you, like it goes almost through you. Karuna always says, don't give it a place to land. Right? Remember, were you in the emotional Toro class where you just kind of step aside and let the bull go?
I don't know. Maybe.
So say somebody's uh, throwing an insult your way, instead of standing there like, come on, bull, I'll take right and wanting to fight the bull and engage the bull and engage the insult,
Mm,
you just kind of step aside and don't give it any place to go,
I see.
right? So when we're in a hot tub with a cocktail and we're having a nice time and everybody's there, you don't really have these opportunities to step aside because nobody's throwing insults at you necessarily.
Mhm.
And I'm just using insults as an example, right? But when somebody harms us, if our reputation, if our persona, our being, our ego doesn't even exist in that moment because we just stepped aside, we see their ego come flying by and we realize it never really had anything to do with us. And when we really look into it, we realize that they wouldn't be insulting us if somebody maybe didn't insult them,
Mhm.
right? Somehow they got the energy of that behavior. And so we can hold ourselves in that open blue sky area and say we're expansive and we're clear and we're spacious. And they're trying to make a storm happen for me, but that's not my storm. And the storm goes by. That's kind of step one. Then step two is to actually say, wow, I hope that they don't have storms anymore. I hope their storms clear up. Make sense?
Mhm.
So practicing metta looks like consciously generating positive thoughts for ourselves and others. It looks like wishing well, not in a distant or casual way, but in a super sincere, deep way. May that lady that keeps insulting me at work, may she just be free from suffering someday so that, the seed that she plants by doing that to me doesn't come back to her. May it not come to me also, but may she be alleviated of that so that she doesn't cause herself and others more harm. So it's sincere and deliberate intention that we have when we're wishing that for somebody else. We can turn to ourselves with metta and we can offer ourselves kindness instead of criticism. I'm well, I'm going to go Western on us again, but in the Western culture, have you ever heard somebody just go, I am totally satisfied with my body? We're so harsh on our body in the Western culture.
Yeah.
So harsh. And it would just, I mean, if I'm sitting there complaining about my body to you, I'm not making your day any better, right? But if I can be satisfied and be in that blue, vast space with regards to my body, I don't need to put any rain or stuff into your blue, vast space that you're satisfied with. It doesn't need to affect you or me in a negative way. So it's turning to ourselves. It's also turning to others with generosity instead of judgment, right? There's somebody that I know that plays this game where they'll drive down the street with their daughter and they'll say, let's sum up that person based on the way they walk and what they're wearing, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I've seen that.
So frequently Like even at work one time we had this networking thing and they said turn to the person next to you and learn 5 things about them that you did not assume in that millisecond that you summed them up. It was so cool. We learned so many really neat things about each other with that one. So when we're practicing metta, we're training our mind and our heart to move towards healing somebody else, healing ourselves, healing somebody else, not having that harm to give, not receiving the harm anymore, not getting the repercussions of it. And then in turn, we create connection rather than separation. Like I'm gonna just give you an example in here. Now, the last time that Robina was in town, this is a tricky one because I'm kind of going against her thoughts, but I think that you're here with me and that's why we can.
Mhm.
I asked her several times because I went to 4 different classes of hers in person, when does altruism come into the picture?
Altruism is
Caring about somebody else,
okay.
doing something for somebody else's good,
That's a good question. When does it come in the picture? Yeah.
right? Like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do what I need to do with myself. But at what point do I get to start like doing something for somebody else?
I completely agree. Also, is this I think I watched a video. I think she actually sent me the videos to watch. So it was like a guide, or maybe it was you. Um, and there's Mahayana and Hinayana,
Yeah.
Hinayana,
Yeah.
right? And like, isn't Hinayana the self, or the
Yeah.
Mahayana is like, transferring?
Self so that you can help others is
Yeah,
Mahayana.
yeah.
I think Mahayana literally means the great vehicle
Interesting.
or great vessel or something. And I don't know what Hinayana means, but they call it the lesser vehicle in a lot of books.
Which one?
Hinayana.
I see.
So, yes, it's beautiful to help us not have as many triggers. Yes, it's wonderful to know ourselves.
Hmm.
Yes, it's nice to not criticize ourselves so that we are more kind. And it's my belief that once we get there, when we help others, that's when the real magic begins.
Yeah.
So, her answer to me was altruism is a middle school concept. And until we can get really amazingly clear with elementary school. Middle school's not ready. So, what does
That's
that mean? Well, like we've been talking about tonight, the body and the speech are the servants of our mind. And then Robina also says every single millisecond of what we think and do and say create our life, create our karma. Like we blame our life on what she says, mommy and daddy, right? We blame our life on where we came from, and we do that all the way back, our ancestors and our gorillas, she says. But really, every single millisecond of what we think, mind, do, body, and say, speech, think and do and say, is what creates our life. We're going to go into the mind more. I keep putting that out there, but I want to be very responsible in teaching that right when we can be very clear about it.
Hmm.
So if one example is that this mind, meaning this moment, you and I are sharing a mind together right now where we're talking about metta, right? Later on, we can look back and somebody could say metta, and we might remember this mind, this moment that we're having currently. If just before this moment we watched our dog get sick all over our car, it could potentially influence the attitude with which we're in this moment together with,
Definitely.
right? So, what Buddhism posits, I say, what Buddhism puts out there is that every one of those previous minds, the mind of being in the car with the dog throw up, and then the mind now affects this moment now. So we try to keep those minds as clear as possible so that we can be in this moment without distraction, so that we can feel this moment, so that we can be present here and we're not having those memories that might not be positive follow us into this moment right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So she says that the practice of altruism is middle school. First, we take a look at our own body, speech, and mind. We get those as clear as we possibly can, and we're really stuck there. And so you're like, oh, when do we go? They're like, how do I know if unless I try to practice altruism that I can do it? Like, how do I want to go to middle school now? So tonight we're kind of dancing between middle school and elementary school, in her opinion. In my Theravada Buddhist classes, which is the basis for how I got my mindful meditation teacher training courses, those were in Theravada ideas. It's more mindfulness, meaning being aware of the mind I am in this moment with and having intention to be here with a certain mind, and then acting with that intention. And that practicing altruism, especially practicing metta, is absolutely something that we can do without being advanced in some way. So, and and in my experience, I can get stuck in the what about me and how about me mode. And I could just watch myself spiral down when I get there. Like, oh, I know this does this. Why am I doing this? And altruism, altruistic thought, altruistic speech, altruistic behavior, altruistic art, altruistic journaling, thinking about others, wishing well for others, wanting to do and planning something for others absolutely pops me out of that downward spiral. So I think there's a mixture of them, but we can't expect to live in the world of altruism middle school without really having the basis of elementary school practicing constantly. So if we still have triggers, we got a long way to go in elementary school still. That doesn't mean we can't take some of the subjects at middle school. So if my mind is triggered, then my body becomes its servant. We go back to the example of somebody insulting me in front of somebody else. If we contemplate it a little bit, someone just insulted us in front of somebody else. Now try to feel that for a second. It might cause us thoughts of wanting to retaliate with our speech or defend ourselves, right? We might want to use harmful words back, and we might want to even hit the person. So our body and our speech would have then become the servant of our thoughts. They, oh, and this is a Geshe Tashi exercise too when we're meditating. We're meditating in a neutral state. A negative thought comes our way, which I'm going to call the insult from somebody else. And Geshe Tashi says it's our job not to react.
Really?
Not just it, you do not react. So you're in meditation, you're sitting there, this thought comes up. You don't react to it, you don't give it energy, you don't give it a story, you don't give it anything, you let it go by and you stay meditating. And you
Is
stay
that to
in
all
your
thoughts?
focal point. What?
Would that be to like all thoughts?
When you're doing single pointed concentration, yes.
Yeah.
Right? Single pointed concentration is the clearest route to realizing emptiness which is not what we hear it to be. When realizing there's nothing, meaning there's nothing to live for, there's not, no, it's not that. Emptiness is more the, this is how I explain emptiness. I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you an example. Ready? See this?
Mhm.
Did you have any thoughts about it the second I put it up?
I did.
What thoughts did you have?
Those are AirPods. I identified it.
Right? Between us and every single object and every single, I think, thought too, there's a story. Like it didn't take long for me to just put up one thing and for you to have some thoughts that went in there,
Mm.
right? So imagine all day long, every place we look, everything we see, those stories are happening,
Mhm.
right? Like take another thing, look in your room. I'm looking up at a plant, right? I got 1,000 stories about this plant. You can't see it. I got this spider plant that comes down and provides oxygen in here, but I haven't like pruned it in a little while, and there's some leaves that don't look so beautiful, and I should probably water it. You know what I mean? Like la 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 la. There's all these different clouds that come into this vast, spacious, clear sky just by looking at something.
I think it's interesting because like I go to school for psychology.
Yeah.
It's like they always touch on that topic, on the fact that like it's scientifically like I mean like they touch on the topic of sorry, but I totally forgot.
Emptiness.
Emptiness, yeah. Like of like everything that is there, you assign something to you assign what that is to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
I'm in social psychology.
Yes.
They talk about the psychology of like social interaction and things like that. And that's like kind of like something that they always mention at the start. You know what I mean? And then they delve into how the mind actually like categorizes things and stuff like that. But it's not like
Yes.
they don't delve into what what like what's behind the association. You know what I mean? What's the consciousness?
Right. Right. And do they talk about minds as plural?
No, they do not.
That's one thing. I get all like, come on, people. I've had, plenty of years of counseling. Like,
Dualism, monism,
is it
mon
monism?
dualism and monism. Monism is like the mind and body are one, and dualism is that they're separate.
Oh, mind and body separate.
Yeah,
Dualism takes me a lot of different places because dualism says me and you. There's
yeah,
this me over there, there's this you over there, and it kind of ignores the connection between us in my mind, in my thoughts, my understanding at this point. And when you can, like, in that vastness, this is where I am in my understanding of it right now. In that vastness, in the I'm going to call it emptiness, in the emptiness of that blue, clear, spaciousness sky, we're going to say, right? In that nothingness gets created the cloud. So how can a cloud come out of nothingness?
yeah. Exactly, exactly. I think that's a great point.
And there's a sutra called the Heart Sutra, and the Heart Sutra says, form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. And you could contemplate that thing over and over and over again. Like in this nothingness comes everything, and from everything goes back to nothing. And so how are they not the same? And quantum science is bringing these two together as close
Yeah.
as they've ever been. We should get Lucas in on the quantum conversation with that. right? I can be in this vast, clear, calm,
Hey, yeah,
spacious, whatever it is, and all of a sudden there's this cloud. And you're like, there was nothing there, and then something came there. And I'll bet you in this book that I show a lot, I showed you how thick this thing was about the mind by the Dalai Lama. This is just all about the mind, just describing the mind, the mind's processes, the cognitions, the valid cognitions, the invalid cognitions, the what comes first between perception and cognition. I mean, it is so incredibly deep. But here we think we know what the mind is, and yeah.
no.
Groping always cracks up thinking, oh, the Americans think they're so smart because Freud came along and explained the mind, and they didn't understand that 2,600 years ago,
Yeah.
the mind was being understood so clearly that you could go to different parts of it.
That's where I just like that's where I just disconnect from all these classes. It's like there's a modern way of thinking about this with which I will say, scientifically this stuff makes sense. Like it very much makes sense and can be explained why we have thoughts and things like that. But it's like there are other questions to ask for sure. And also it's like we don't delve into we think of like Freud and stuff like that. We don't go into like the Aztecs or whatever, like how they
Yeah,
thought.
the
Like
mind, yeah.
we should be talking about like ancient psychology.
Yes. And understanding it better.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, I heard something that said history is written by the victor.
Yeah.
So maybe the peaceful communities lost.
Yeah.
They didn't get to write the book. So we get to read the book about the fighters in the front, not knowing that the one who really won was the non-fighter.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I wish they would talk about it more. I mean, I have to go to these unconventional places to find more about it, right? There is more about it, but it's not in our libraries necessarily.
Yeah.
All right. When we get good at practicing this, our body and our speech. So she always said, Robina always says, first thing you do is control your body and your speech. Just control them. So this guy gives me an insult. I think it. I don't like you. That was BS. You don't deserve that. How are you to know? Whatever my whole thought process goes, I can think it all I want, but I just don't say anything and I just don't act on it. That's elementary school practice right there. Somebody does something to us, causes a trigger, we do not act on it. So we control the servants of our mind. That's elementary school. No body and speech reaction to something that causes us to go, what are they thinking? How crazy are they? Whatever it is, right? Maybe somebody's not insulting us. I just keep using that as a consistent example. Maybe somebody says something that's not with our beliefs. We don't have the right to harm them. We have the right to think, if we were to say something to them at this moment, would it benefit anything or could there be potential harm? And it's our job, if there could be potential harm at all, to say and do nothing. Now, in a marriage, that's super hard. But what works really well is to say, I wanted to make a commitment to say and do nothing that could potentially harm you. And my reaction to what you just said isn't there yet. So I'd like to be quiet and I'd like you to give me that space. Right? Because then you can get this kind of buy-in from your partner saying, I'm trying to save you just as much as I'm trying to save me from my negative thoughts right now. So please give me some space.
Mhm.
But we don't get caught in this righteous act of you said something to me, you know you're wrong, la 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 la, la, and there's now I've just caused harm 5 times with my speech.
I think yeah, I think it's interesting. It's like I feel like both of the people kind of have to be on that page though. You know what I mean? It's like when one person is on that page, it kind of seems like the other one's being a little like arrogant, you know what I mean? Or like, you know, it's interesting. The relationships are interesting.
It's really trippy, Nathan, when one person is super committed to making a change and the other one isn't. And that person, like in our case, I just thought I don't want the results that I've been causing my whole life anymore. I want more positive results from my own actions. I just made this commitment. Like, I will not just scream. I will not just react because they pushed me enough that I deserve to react like that. You know, I will not just hail insults because somebody harmed me. Instead, I can say things like, that hurt. I would never want you to hurt the way I feel like I'm hurting right now. I'm going to stop right now and take a break because I don't want you to feel what I'm feeling. And the other person actually feels loved.
Mhm.
And sooner or later, they start not yelling as much and not screaming as much and not saying things that are negative as much themselves, even when they didn't even know that that was a mission that they wanted to be on. They just felt the experience of it from somebody else and thought, wow, that felt better. You know, it's pretty cool. That part's really cool. When we get super good with our body and our speech, then our mind follows also. Like, I got a baseball example where Reef was playing with some of his friends and I was pitching. And I had practiced and I'd been doing lots and lots of like practice. So you have to be actively in this. You can't have done it 5 years ago and then all of a sudden you're here now, but you have been practicing crapoline since then, right? Like I was super practicing daily. And this kid racked a ball and it went straight into my knee. I'm telling you, instantaneously, I just thought, I hope he's okay. He's going to think that he hurt me. I'm so sorry that, like, I just hope he's okay. And that's when I knew that my practice was paying off.
Yeah,
Like, no negative thought went into my mind whatsoever. It was just, oh my God, that poor kid's going to be mortified that he hurt me. I hope he's okay. And guess what happened? Not even a bruise.
interesting.
It was so cool. I'm like, oh, what just went on there? It was really neat. All right. When we're constantly practicing elementary school, we're constantly noticing our triggers. We're noticing how our body and speech want to serve those triggers. We're noticing how our body and speech are needing to be held back. And we're trying to purify the thoughts so that it's not so hard on our body and speech. Those triggers are you fill in the blank.
Sorry, why what?
The triggers are our what? Defending itself.
Ego?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. The the persona we've made ourselves up to be. Like, you won't mess with Deniece like that. Well, who the heck is Deniece? Come on, this is a being that I created in my head of needs to be a certain, like, come on, What about just an energy? And the energies could potentially be positive energy.
Hmm.
They're a false sense of a self that feels like it needs to be protected. When we get skillful enough to protect the other person, like that Reef's friend that hit the baseball, then really beautiful, miraculous, transformative moments happen where what would have normally been this blame and hurt turn into the most massive amount of love. And because it seems like it's the wrong situation that it happens in, it seems that much bigger when you feel it. It is bliss.
Mhm.
It's so cool. So can you imagine? I'm going to do a little like example. You ready? Can you imagine when somebody flips you off in traffic and you have the opportunity to pull up next to them and one, flip them off back, or two, say, my bad, I'm really sorry. Can you imagine the different results with those two actions?
Most definitely.
Right? Now try it this way. I'm going to take one step deeper. You are the person who flips somebody off in traffic. They have an opportunity to come pull up beside you and they flip you off. Or they pull up beside you and go, dude, so sorry, that was my bad.
Mhm.
Can you feel the difference there?
Yeah.
Doesn't it just feel like love?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so magical. There's a story that Tenzin Chogi teaches. I can ask her to teach this to us once. She was working with a guy who was like the head of the Aryan race in prison and super violent. And she was working with him and teaching him Buddhism, and he had learned for 12 years, I think it was. She's working with him. And she told him, I don't know if she wrote it to him or what, but he told her that he was in the middle of the yard and there was going to be this really big conflict and he was part of it and he knew that he could have been killed. And he was just so filled with compassion that he just looked at the guy and just wished him love under all circumstances. He just didn't even care what happened to himself. He just wished the guy love. Didn't say it out loud. He just had this energy about it. And for some reason, that guy who was holding a knife just put his knife down and walked
Really.
in the middle of a jail yard, right? I mean, wouldn't, here's my thing. Wouldn't you kind of feel like God if you were able to do that? I mean, if we can harness the power of taking something that negative and turning it to neutral or turning it to positive, what else is God? What else is a higher power than that? So I love that.
Mhm.
So let's talk a little bit about altruism and the act of metta. Can you imagine that when you get very good at purifying your thoughts of negativity towards others, when you get triggered, you can create this baseline of understanding that people are suffering. People are carrying everything that they haven't worked out. They're carrying negative karmas that they haven't purified yet. They're carrying seeds of weeds that they've planted themselves that maybe they don't even know are there yet. And so it's suffering. It's causing the negative thoughts. It's causing the negative speech and actions. People now you're understanding, you're beginning to understand because you're practicing so well that people don't behave in horrible ways unless they are suffering. If they have a positive thoughts, positive experiences, positive moments, purified like they don't have that to give forward. So you send lots and lots of compassion towards their suffering in hopes that they won't suffer any longer. We don't naturally think this way. We think he was a jerk, he deserved that. Right? There's another story about I think it's some moms in South Africa, and they had to face the killer of their son. And they were gonna, oh, I hope he dies. Oh, I hope he does. Some other people were thinking. And this one mom, when they asked, what punishment would you like this person to have? She said something like, how could I ever want him to suffer? I'm also a mom. How could I ever see him as anything other than my son? How could I ever want my own son to suffer? I just want relief for him. And this pattern of punish him for bad, punish him for bad, punish him for bad got totally different, changed, transformed. And they actually like created a home for people who were violent to help them not be violent. That mom created the home, and that guy that killed her son is the head of the program.
Wow.
Right? Awesome. Like the first time somebody just showed him some mercy. Like, I believe in you, man. I'm sorry you have so much suffering that you did that to my son. I know that if you didn't have that suffering, you wouldn't have. I just wish I could take it away. Oh, they're both free. She becomes free of resentment, which could just kill you, make you so sick. And he's free of self-blame and hatred. And it created this massive amount of love to give out to the world. I love that stuff. All right, ready to do a practice? It's a good one, huh, Noons?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to do 9-round breathing to start off with. I'm going to guide it for you. No falling asleep. Your job is to stay alert while we go through this practice, okay?
Okay.
If you can, I don't know why I get lazy with this sometimes when I'm doing my own practice by myself. Group practice definitely holds me together better, where I can have a better posture, where I can really put this effort into it. That says there are certain meditation positions that are used because they're most beneficial. Let's use them. So the most important part of that is a straight spine. So if you can lay down flat with a straight spine comfortably, please do that. If you can sit up with your legs crossed or your legs on a chair and then touching the floor with both feet, please do that, but try to keep your spine nice and straight, okay?
I'm laying down flat.
So we're going to begin by breathing in 3 gentle sets of breaths, not yet, focusing awareness to cleanse and calm our energy centers, okay? So we're going to start off with clearing the body. As you breathe in, imagine fresh, clear air entering through your nostrils. As you breathe out, imagine any tension or tightness gently flowing out of your body. Breathe in clarity. Breathe out physical tension. Breathe in freshness. Breathe out heaviness. Breathe in lightness and breathe out strain. And now we're going to clear our speech heart center. bringing your attention to your throat and to your heart. As you breathe in, imagine breathing in warm compassion. As you breathe out, release any harshness, judgment, or words unsaid. Breathe in kindness. Breathe out bitterness. Breathe in patience. Breathe out irritation. Breathe in warmth. And breathe out tightness. And then now we're going to move our attention to our mind. As you breathe in, invite spaciousness. As you breathe out, let go of crowded, heavy thoughts. So breathe in, open sky. Breathe out, clouds of worry. Breathe in clarity. Breathe out confusion. Breathe in peace. And breathe out restlessness. And just feel stillness in that clarity of body, speech, and mind as we go into our metta. Metta are sincere phrases. And now that the mind and body are more clear and open, let's turn towards our heart. You're welcome to say these metta phrases out loud or kind of whisper them to yourself with your lips moving but no noise, or to think them with real deep sincerity. Just let the words be like a whisper in the heart, not forcing anything, just offering, okay? We're going to offer some phrases to ourselves. We're going to offer some phrases to each other. And then we're going to offer some phrases to all beings. I like to do this with my hand over my heart, actually. You can also put one on your tummy if you want. May I be safe. It's going to sound a little redundant, but we're going to say each one of these 3 times. May I be safe. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be peaceful. May I be peaceful. May I meet this life with love and strength. May I meet this life sincerely with love and strength. May I meet this life with love and strength. May I open my heart even when it's hard. May I open my heart even when it's hard. May I open my heart even when it's hard. And may I see my own goodness. May I see my own goodness. May I see my own goodness. Now we're going to extend those same wishes to each other here. May you be safe. May you be safe. May you be safe. May you be peaceful. May you be peaceful. May you be peaceful. May you meet this life with love and strength. May you meet this life with love and strength. May you meet this life with love and strength. May you open your heart even when it's hard. May you open your heart even when it's hard. May you open your heart even when it's hard. And may you see your own goodness. May you see your own goodness. May you see your own goodness. And then we'll practice these phrases for all beings. May all beings be safe. May every being without exception be safe. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings meet this life with love and strength. May all beings meet this life with love and strength. May all beings meet this life with love and strength. May all beings open their heart even when it's hard. May all beings open their heart even when it's hard. May all beings open their heart even when it's hard. And may all beings see their own goodness. May all beings see their own goodness. May all beings see their own goodness. As we close this practice, know that the kindness that you have offered yourself here is a strength, not a weakness. That you've offered to me was a strength, not a weakness. And that you offered out to all beings was a strength, not a weakness. It's how we heal. It's how we begin every moment by moment. Thank you. When you're ready, take a nice deep breath.
That was nice.
How's your heart, my gnomes?
I'm so calm right now. It's not even funny.
That's so great. When we do this again and again, it kind of becomes this place where we can visit again when we just start getting a little bit too many things going on, right? It's like, hang on. May I be loving and have strength. May you also, and may all beings. Just to formally close out the Our Metaverse part here, Nouns, I want to
All good.
ask for forgiveness. If there's anything I brought up that was uncomfortable tonight for some reason, that is not my intention. Yes, maybe to expand our thinking a little bit and give space for some more love, create discomfort is not my intention. If there's something that you said or did that you feel that, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that, please immediately forgive yourself as I do. And may we dedicate the merit that we just created by choosing to do this really beautiful, positive thing for ourselves, for each other, and for the world to the people who are feeling depressed, to the people who are ruminating in self-thought, to the people who are mentally suffering, and to the people who don't have a community like ours to come together with such special exercises and meditations and to share this calm love together. May all wars end immediately. Thank you.